Hey there. First and foremost, I want to say thank you to everyone who sent all of their well wishes and sent comments from the last video that I posted. There were a couple of people who asked the question of how I was able to improve my health and what diet changes, basically like what I eat or ate to improve it, as well as how I maintain it now. So I wanted to take a few minutes and go ahead and answer those questions. First and foremost, I guess starting at the beginning. So one of the things that happened was before they really assessed or figured out what was going on with my body, I was put on prednisone, which is a steroid, to manage the symptoms. The symptoms at the time were really bad joint pain, so really bad knee and wrist joint pain, as well as I was having these ulcers. Calcified ulcers is what I think it's referred to as, where the skin on like the tips of my finger, it was like really dry, and the skin would dry up almost to the point of having sores, and they just hurt a lot. So those were the main, as well as fatigue. That was the first symptom. But those were the things that they said, okay, well, let's put you on a steroid, and see what happens. Initially, I went to an urgent care because it was the weekend, when it really came to a halt for me. And so they put me on it for 2 weeks. And basically the doctor said, hey, if you get off of this in 2 weeks and you're still having those problems, you need to go to your primary care physician. I did, and that's when all of the testing and the questions and the querying began. I ended up on prednisone for 2 years, which prednisone is not meant to be used long term. But that was pretty much how long my journey was in figuring out what was going on. And the thing with prednisone is two things. I gained 49 pounds. Like, it almost seemed like I just looked at food and I would just gain weight. But yeah, it was a thing. It kept the symptoms away, and as they started figuring out and diagnosing and trying medications to see if they would stop the symptoms, I was still on it. And the thing with it is they had to taper me off of it. It's not something where you can go from 10 or 15 milligrams to 0. You kind of have to taper it down to 13 and then 12 and 10 and so forth and so on. So the first thing that my doctor did was, because I was having joint issues and we didn't know if that would come back, as it applied to me moving, he, rather than me just going to like a regular gym or running or walking or doing anything that might cause pain with my joints, he prescribed physical therapy in the way of aquatic therapy or hydrotherapy. Basically, it was where I went into this chamber. It filled up with water, and then I had a therapist who guided me through like a exercise routine. It's the same kind of things that you would do like with weights or with running and walking, but you do it in water, so it has less impact on the joints. That was super helpful. That, as I was tapering off of the medication, I lost the first 20 pounds. So that was awesome. After that, I joined Planet Fitness. I am to this day still a Planet Fitness member, and it actually really benefits me because it helps out with van life as well, because that is where I shower most of the times if I'm not at a campground or if I'm not at a friend or family member's house, etc. That is my preferred way of making sure I get a shower as frequently as possible, which is typically, it's pretty frequent. So I really got moving. A part of this journey has also been just walking. For instance, when, like, just before it had started, I got up every single morning and walked for 45 minutes. I just walked the neighborhood that I lived in. And again, it has always kept me trim. And even when I go to the gym, I primarily spend time on the treadmill. I have found for me that is the most successful way to really keep weight, just maintained and lowered consistently. As well as I love the gym too, because my favorite things there are they have a hydro massage bed, and basically it's where you lay down on this bed or this lounge chair, and high pressure water massages your body from head to toe. It is so relaxing for me. They also have a deep tissue massage chair. You put your hands and your legs, and basically, similarly, it massages you from head to toe, and well, back to ankle. Or neck to ankle. But they're just super. That one, the massage chairs are just basically apparatus that need or tap to do the massaging. And then a new thing that some of them have is a wellness pod, which is basically where you lay down in this lounger, and you can get heat on the top or the bottom or both. And then it has like meditations that you can listen to, or relaxation. You can look at scenic views or listen to the sounds of the ocean or sounds of water dripping down the stream, or all of the things. And you can even do aromatherapy. It has like scents that you can have coming out, like tropical scents and all of those things. And I find for me, so the hydro massage is like 10 minutes. The chairs are usually like 15 minutes. And then the wellness pod is another 15 minutes. So basically I get to add those extra minutes just to relax and enjoy that time. And I can't begin to tell you how relaxing and amazing it is. So for me, it's movement. If I'm not in the gym, then I'm walking. I am doing whatever I can to walk and just move, even if it's walking around Walmart as I'm getting groceries or whatever the case is. So I really do focus my energy on moving. So that's one. Number two was that other piece where I talked about the machines that I go and use at Planet Fitness. I also do just meditation and reading and things that relax me. Just spending time in the outdoors. Whatever it is that helps you relax. I have also used EFT. I'll probably do a quick short on that because I can't even remember or like all of the details, because I've just been using it for a while. So that or tapping, if you've heard that. So the second part to improving my health has everything to do with my eating. I started out the journey by just increasing the amount of vegetables and fruits that I ate daily, and also by cutting the fat out of the meat that I was eating. So just eating a leaner cut of beef, eating less fried foods, and just eating a healthier diet that way. And so while I was exercising and in making those changes, I was able to basically lose all that I had put on from when I was on the prednisone. So then next, what I did was in 2017, I spoke with a friend of mine who was or has been a vegan for the last 30 years and who helps people who are transitioning into a vegetarian or a vegan lifestyle by just coaching them through finding lots of recipes and even restaurants that have vegan and vegetarian foods that taste amazing. So that, and then also like teaching me. So like he gave me a couple of different recipes and showed me how to make them, that taste so good, to the point of just really finding foods. And that's the thing for me, it's really about the flavor. I don't miss. So I still, let's back up a little bit. So even though I still to this day eat lots of vegetables and fruits, I did reincorporate seafood for the omega-3, for the good and positive nutritional values that you can get out of it. I grew up eating more seafood than I ever ate other meats, just from, I just love seafood. I've always been that way. And, just grew up from living in Nassau and, having snapper and having conch and all of that kind of stuff. I found that I really missed it. I don't eat it every day. I eat it probably 2 or 3 times a week, if it really depends on where I am, etc. I don't mind just eating a vegetarian diet, and I do low dairy, and and there's some other things that I also incorporate in how I eat. But I do not eat beef, I don't eat turkey, and I don't eat chicken. And it's been that way for the past 7 years. And I don't really miss it. And most of it is because the food that I do eat is so flavorful. So I just find things that really complement my palate. And then at this point, speaking of which, like, my taste buds have changed to where I do crave and enjoy the vegetables that I eat and the dishes that I do eat. And on top of that, I don't really even consider myself pescatarian. I consider myself flexitarian, because I do, if I want pepperoni on pizza, I'm going to eat pepperoni on pizza. If I want bacon for breakfast, I eat bacon. I don't eat it a lot, but I do in moderation when I choose to. It might be once a week, it might be once a month. It really just depends. So I'm not really by some strict diet. I just really listen to my body. My body tells me what it needs. I've even had situations where one time I went in for a basic procedure, a colonoscopy, I want to say it was. And my potassium was so low that they literally stopped the entire procedure because it was so low that I could have crashed on the table, or during the procedure. So I've just gotten to a point of where I pay attention to my body and what it needs. So in saying that, in addition to how I eat, I also take a multivitamin, I take vitamin D, I take potassium and nutrients that I am aware of that my body does not process. As we get older, our bodies don't do all of the things. Again, let me clarify, that I'm speaking about my body. I can't speak to anybody else's body. I just know that I have, from time to time, had situations or times when they have done tests and found certain nutrients to be lacking. And so because of that, there will be times where they will check it, or they will say, hey, make sure that you're supplementing this or eating. Actually, the first thing they say is eat foods that are rich in that. And I always start there. I start it because your food is your medicine, period. I 100% know that to be true. But I find that sometimes my body still doesn't process. So I will still supplement, and my body tells me whether it's good or not. And we still do testing. But the thing is this, I know so many people who struggle with similar issues that I have, who spend nights in the hospital every year, or who have to have surgeries done every year. And y'all, from my personal, I'm not in pain. I don't take any pain medication. I've never regularly had to take pain medications since I've been off of the prednisone. And on top of that, I go to my doctors once a year, typically. The only other thing they do is they check my blood work every 3 months, just to make sure that everything is doing what it's supposed to do and that I'm all good. But other than that, like, it's been good. Somebody in the comments from the last video, I'll put the link to the video in the description if you're new here and you don't know what I'm talking about. But somebody said to me, well, if you had scarring, you know, how did it improve? So the scarring still exists, but there's two things. One, it didn't get worse. People who don't make it 12 months past that point, it didn't get worse. Number two, the other piece is how they determine your lungs. Well, basically they use lung function to determine how your lungs are doing given scar tissue. And when the process started, they literally sent me through the process of doing a baseline for as if I were a patient in need of a lung transplant. And essentially my point is, like, I went from that level of lung function to drastically improving my lung function. Certainly not necessarily the normal, but definitely not to where I'm needing to, you know, be considered this month for any kind of a lung transplant, or to where I'm needing oxygen every day for regular walking and doing, you know. So that is the level of improvement that I've had. And certainly for somebody who told me I had 12 months and here I am 12 years, that's an improvement. That's all I'm saying. But again, these are my results. These are my observations and experiences, but I share them because I really do not put myself out here like this, y'all. But I know I've had enough people come to me and say, you know what, you've really inspired me to do this, or I didn't know that there was somebody else who was experiencing this. I mean, I had somebody in the comments in the video who said, this is my story, you know, minus one or two things, like, this is my whole story, and thank you for sharing. So that is why I'm here. If one person can benefit from what I'm sharing, if I can help you improve your life and make your life the best rest of your life, hey, I'm here for it. So thank you for watching. I appreciate your time. I appreciate all the comments. I do have one or two other videos coming up for other comments that people made for that video, but thank you again. I am glad you're here.
If you've enjoyed this video, hit the like button. If you'd like to see more content, hit subscribe. If you'd like to suggest a topic, drop it in the comments.